Season 6 of E-Racing Grand Prix. Who would have thought this time in March 2020 that we'd still be going on to a 6th season? Congratulations, Alex.
Yeah.
Great job. 4 categories are still going and plenty of competitors going in all 4 categories in round 1. Salzburgring is the circuit that you've chosen for today?
Yes. Salzburgring, very well known for MotoGP in the 80s and the 90s. Some great racing, great drafting as well. So we might see that today as well. And of course, we're doing a tip of the hat to historic racing. A lot of the old style racing. We're coming up to silver right now. Silver will be the Group 5 cars of the 80s, 70s and 80s. Some really classic cars out there. Before the Gold Class, which would be the big old Group C cars from the 80s as well.
Fantastic stuff. They're more difficult to drive.
Yes, they are. You're going to see on the onboard stuff. You get a lot more sideways stuff. We saw in the copper and bronze class a lot of cars going sideways through the corners. Requires a different driving style. You know, the cars from yesteryear are just a little bit more agriculture, suspension systems and stuff. The weight balance is not great. Cross-ply tires as well. Cross-ply tires is also a very key part. So it allows the cars to slide a lot more. So you see a lot of different driving styles. You know, when you drive the more modern cars like we've had in Global Edition before, like the GTMs, GT3s, you need a very precise, disciplined style. But in these old cars, you can have varying styles and still be quick.
I'm just able to look off screen at some of the practice that's going on at the moment. There we are on board at Salzburgring. Shows you the old school cars. Some familiar names, though, in terms of E-Racing. Jun Cheng is there, Darren Ivan is there. We are on board here with...
There's Qalif.
Practice going on. Qalif, of course, who we've seen race very, very quickly. So you've managed to get some of the old familiar names back. Some of these guys have moved up from bronze into silver. So the whole point of what we've tried to do in the first 4 seasons is get drivers from the group.
Yep, first 5 seasons. But yes, exactly. So let's see, who won bronze last time? Bronze was won by Kelvin Powell, wasn't it? Well, Kelvin Powell won copper, didn't he?
Too many names to remember.
But
Kelvin is there, so Kelvin has stepped up.
Yeah.
There is Kelvin.
Yeah, well, he's doing a lot of racing. Oh, look at that lovely car. Is that the Zach Speed? Okay, so this is kind of cool. I've actually driven this car. I'm not that old, but I have actually driven that car in the 80s, the 90s. The 90s, and it was a heck of a car to drive. I remember doing some racing in Charlotte with this car, the old Zach Speed. So a lot of these old cars here, it's a very cool car. You actually have to stab the throttle a lot in the corners. You know, you can't be smooth. A lot of wheel lock, a lot of this. You're watching on board right now. See big wheel movements as they're trying to control the car. And now they're down this back straight at Salzburg. There's these fast corners in a modern car, be easy flat with a little bit of downforce. But you can see as he comes to this, it kind of swoops right, then swoops left, and then the next right-hander would be easy flat if you had some downforce. But it's not easy flat with these things. You can see the stabs on the throttle, very much old school. You have to drive the car like that because it's always understeer and oversteer. So you try and stabs the throttle, try and rotate the car, which you just wouldn't do in a modern day car. So great to watch, and I love that Kelvin Powell's chosen the Zach Speed.
Another little sparks are flying out around the back as well, which just adds to a little bit of realism. Beautiful day in virtual Salzburg, beautiful day in Southeast Asia as well, but our focus is very much on the cockpit, as we have got just about 20 seconds or so left before qualification. Interesting that Jun Cheng, who's been very, very quick in silver over the past couple of seasons, he's fastest out on the track today. At the moment, he's there happily sitting in the grid. Do you think this is a portent of things to come?
Yeah, I'm just wondering what car that is. I don't even recognize that car. I have no idea what car that is. It's a Chevrolet. I think it's got the Chevrolet symbol there. Yeah, so it's a Chevrolet Decon Monza. Never heard of that car, but it looks interesting indeed. So I got the page up. I'm going to share it with you, Des, actually, because there are all sorts of different cars out there. Yeah, it's a Chevrolet Decon Monza. It looks like a beast to drive as well. So we head into qualifying now.
Edifice Casio timing available for us. Our thanks to the sponsors on E-Racing TV, Exports and Royal Selangor, who are providing the prizes. Let's get on board with Jun Cheng. And we've got a track map as well, Alex. So Salzburgring will be relatively new, I suspect, to several people. If we just stick on board with Jun Cheng, as he starts, there you can see. Just talk us through this long sweeping straight.
Yeah, okay, so now it's come down to turn 1. You see it's a chicane as he goes through here. You've got to monster the curbs. These old cars are quite a bit softer. Well, they are set up quite soft, so you can monster those old school curbs. Now this long right-hander, very important corner, obviously, not just for carrying minimum speeds, but you need a good exit out of here because that defines what happens down the long back straight. Look how he's fighting that car. He's just fighting that car all the way out of the car, out of that long corner. And he's purple in Sector 1. We are following a BMW 320 Turbo earlier, not sure who that was, but Jun Cheng in the Chevrolet Decon Monza. As he comes down this long back straight, easy flat through these corners, easy flat through this left-hander, then this next right-hander, he's got to take a small dab with brake. Purple through Sector 1, Sector 2 should be coming up now, and will he be purple through Sector 2? Now it tightens up to this right-hander. Again, very fast and flowing. This far end of the track goes through this right-hander now, got a couple chicanes to go. Whoa, look at those tank slappers. Purple through Sector 2, looking good. Whoa, look how he's just dancing the throttle, dancing on the brake as he tries to get the car to rotate. Comes through the last corner now, and down the start, finish straight. Someone's going quicker at the moment, but I think Jun Cheng will be pole for now. No.
P3 at the moment for Jun Cheng. Wow, okay, so there's a decent first lap in, but Darren Ivan Reijan from Singapore leads the way. Mohammed Qalif in B2. Jun Cheng in 3. Sim Kai Wen in 4. Voltaire Seiko out of the Philippines and Mark Voltaire Elman. They put in decent laps. And Rishabh from India. He's a welcome inclusion. Let's just have a look at Rishabh. Let's see what he's able to do. He's just started his lap out at the moment. What have we got? 2:40 to go. So
wow.
If he has got an opportunity, if he mucks this one up, he has got time to start again. But at the moment, the Indian in P6 happens.
Yeah, and I think he's in a Nissan Silvia Turbo. Beautiful looking car, actually. That's a very pretty looking car. Whoa, whoa, sideways out the corner. That's not what you need, and that's his lap compromise.
Okay, so Darren Ivan is the man who is still leading another classic, and he's fastest through Sector 1 as well. Blue Steel Racing in the Corvette. That's about as much as I know, but it's the old Starsky and Hutch type of livery, except blue instead of red. That's no nod to history. Right. But Darren Ivan, so 1:08.254 is his target time as he comes through. But Sector 3, oh gosh, he's not improved this time, but he's still P1, and he'll be on front row of the grid alongside Mohammed Qalif at the moment.
Qalif there in, oh, what is that? Another Decon Monza. So that few drivers seem to like this car as he comes out that last corner, squirreling out of that last corner. And I think the Sim's starting a lap. 1:33 to go in the qualifying, so he will have enough time to finish it. Qalif now braking for turn 1 as he gets on the anchors. Fire coming out of the exhaust as he changes down the gears. Good through the chicane. That's nice. I like that. Got the power on as well. You can see how much power they're having, struggling to get through the tires. Ooh, sideways into the corner. That's okay though. It's a quick way in these cars. Gets a good exit. Yeah, looks like a good exit. Whoa! These tank slappers on the way out. He looks so calm in the inset, but I'm sure it's not calm in that cockpit. Like I said, bagfuls of steering lock to drive these cars. Long back straight again. Looks good at the moment. We're not getting any sectors coming up at the moment, but looking at the timing screen, looks like a decent lap.
P2 at the moment, so he's the best time of 1:23.13. Gosh, they are working really hard. He looks quite cool and calm, bottom right of your screen, though.
He does, but look, oh no, okay, now that's too much movement. Misses the apex, goes quite wide. That's going to cost a lot of time, and you can see, I don't think this will be quick enough to snatch pole position.
So the Stratos driver, he is in P2 alongside Darren Ivan Reijan on the first row of the grid. Jun Cheng and Arif Azmi, who we didn't really see, he put in a quick time for P4. That's second row of the grid. Voltaire Seiko and Sim Kae-Wearn drops down to P6. Points available for the top 5. Let's not forget in all of these scoring, and Sim Kae-Wearn in 6th. Frustrated Hong Kong's Justin Hun alongside Wei Seong, Zikri and Rishabh. A creditable P10 for Rishabh, and the lowest O from Japan finds P11. Unless there's somebody out on a lap just about to post a quick time, it will be Darren Ivan Reijan and Mohammed Qalif on the front row of the grid.
Well, that was an exciting qualifying. Closer than I expected, but yeah, it's going to take us a while to get used to the cars. So many different kind of cars, Des. it's going to be quite interesting to see what happens.
I'm interested to see how the drivers are able to cope with them, because we're seeing it sliding all over the place, but the drivers seem to be fairly cool and calm, unless they've just been practicing so hard in the build-up to this. But I can't imagine they've driven these cars too many times.
No, we only announced what cars we're going to do about 3 weeks ago, so they wouldn't have done that many times. And as is normal Global Edition, we only announced the track on the Monday of the race, so we try and limit the testing for the drivers.
E-Racing GP, we are just about to get underway. Race number 1 of 2. Mohammed Qalif on the front row of the grid alongside Darren Ivan. Darren Ivan to the right of your screen, Blue Steel Racing. And it's Darren Ivan who gets off to a really quick start. It's pretty good off the line also from Mohammed Qalif, but Darren Ivan, quick qualification, and he'll go into the first corner here with quite a healthy lead behind them. Jun Cheng has been beaten to the punch by Arif Azmi, and then Darren Ivan gets it completely wrong, Alex Young.
Well, he does, and he gains a lot there. I wonder if he'll get a penalty for that. He might get a slow-down penalty for that, because he didn't seem to lose much time. We watch the helicam view right now of Darren Ivan. Oh, look at that, going wide. Arif Azmi makes a mistake there. Oh, and he spins to the inside.
Arif Azmi, well, he got him to P3, but then he slid out the way into P4. So Darren Ivan leads the way.
Yeah, leads the way at the moment. In second position, Jun Cheng there, Qalif there in third, and you can see they're all coming through the back straight. Oh, the Corvette looks very quick down the straight. Look at the cars, the fires coming out the exhaust as they change down the gears through the right-hander.
Arif Azmi in P4 is fun to watch. He got up to P3, then he's sliding. He just looks like he's having real problems, Alex, in controlling that fast Corvette. Drops down to P5, contact behind him between Sim K1 and Justin Hung, and that means that Voltaire Seiko goes into P3, and Arif is going anywhere except on the black stuff.
Yeah, so Arif Azmi, he's a real world driver, he's a karter. So as with karting, it's all about being super smooth and everything. But I think Azmi's not used to manhandling cars around. With these old style cars, you've got to manhandle them around a bit, and smoothness is not so key. Darren Ivan, they're in the lead still, pulling out quite a bit of a gap.
It's a heck of a gap. There's only 2 minutes gone. So much has happened though, as Rashid picks up a slow down penalty. Just go a little bit further down. That battle for P4 is building up once again. Voltaire Seiko ahead of Simco. So Arif Azmi is dropped right the way down. So Arif, wow, that is a first 2.5 minutes that he'll remember, but not for the right reasons, because there he is, Alex, down in P11, struggling. Yeah,
struggling quite a bit. Yeah, so he's quite a far back. We were watching Norman Zikri, he raced in bronze just now. But yeah, so he's having an interesting race in that BMW. Oh, looking down the inside, can't really overtake there. Now through this right-hander, they're getting sideways. Sparks flying. Love the new race room graphics. Where it simulates the ground, the bottom of the car hitting the ground. You can see the sparks coming out.
Certainly does, sparks coming out, but in a different way from Darren Ivan. He was fastest in qualification, but he's been able to put together a really healthy lead. Nearly 2-second lead over Jun Cheng. Mohammed Qalif in P3, Seiko in 4, Sim K1 in 5, Nois O in 6. This is where he went wrong on the first lap, though. That little chicane can be a little bit dodgy, but Darren Ivan, no problems for him on this particular occasion. And looking back, Alex, that is a big lead that he's got.
Yeah, it is a big lead indeed. So it's tough for them at the moment. But yeah, he's really pulling away. So I don't know. I don't think it's going to be very hard to catch Ivan at the moment. Ivan is just really far out in front. Jun Cheng, though, he's the man. He's quick. You know, we've seen him win races in silver before, so you'd think he's the guy that would hopefully should be able to, for his sake at least, be able to catch up to Ivan.
That's Jun Cheng looking forward, looking backward. You can see the sparks flying from Mohammed Qalif, almost sideways, as you quite rightly say. Mohammed Qalif there in P3. That's the battle that's ongoing. This is a P2 and P3. That's the battle. P4, Voltaire Seiko is still able just to hold off Sim K1, but there's only 0.2 of a second there. Again, going sideways into that corner. I think these guys think they're in a stock car race with some of these old classics.
Yeah, indeed. But they are great. Look at the wings and fenders on these things. It's quite big how these cars are. Apologies for the sound, just having some issues with the mic. But ooh, look at that, Seiko looking to defend the inside. Too late, and Kaiwan there, Sim Kaiwan looking to try and overtake, doesn't quite make it happen as they both look fast as they go through over the bumps.
It's a great battle for P4. Voltaire Seiko Sim Racing Filipinas in the old-fashioned BMW. Sim Kaiwan is the man right behind him. He also is in the BMW. They're old school. I used to drive them, Alex. I do confess that looks like one of the early 80s marks. That's terrific stuff. Behind them, Wei Xiong has managed to get up into P6, and Wei Xiong under pressure from Arif Azmi. Arif once again he's got himself up to P7 now. So Arif has been as high as 3, as low as 11. Now back up into P7 for Arif Azmi, the young Malaysian. He's on the tail of Wei Xiong. Nois O is in P8.
Yeah. We're on board right now, watching Arif Azmi as he goes through these corners. We're right on board with him. You can see as he goes through the right-hander right now how much lock he's got. He's got lots of understeer, a few stabs on the throttle to try and rotate the car. Now through the last, oh, he's running wide there again. He's received a couple and gets out of the last corner now. Gets a good exit. Ooh, a bit of a time cycle. That's cost him. And you can see two cars behind him looking to try and overtake as well. Watching back from the rear view mirror, but Azmi's car is really quick in a straight line. Doesn't go around the corners very well, but very quick in a straight line indeed. Now, gone through the first couple of corners, watching back again. So the Corvette is very quick in a straight line, just not very good through the corners. And it's a question whether Justin Hung behind him in the BMW can just try and get a good exit. If you get close enough, he'll be able to get into the slipstream. Oh, he is in the slipstream right now. But the Corvette's going to pull away down the straight. Look at that. He just disappears down the straight. And even though the BMW is in the slipstream, can't get close enough to get to follow him down the straight.
Let's have a look at P2. P2 at the moment is Jun Cheng. So Jun Cheng into P2. He's still under pressure from Mohammed Qalif, but rather ignoring Darren Ivan, because with half of this race nearly gone, Darren Ivan has got a heck of a lead. It's 1.5 seconds. He's barely been within fighting distance of Jun Cheng and Mohammed Qalif. Although, tell you what, Jun Cheng, Alex, is beginning to make a little bit of headway on Darren Ivan. 1.8 at the moment down the long straight, but he's not been able to get over 2 seconds clear, Darren Ivan. Maybe this race isn't over, particularly with this chicane, which can cause problems. And Darren Ivan, did he receive a penalty for that mistake on the chicane on the first lap? I've not seen anything.
Yeah, I think he might have just got away with that. Maybe he slowed down enough. But yeah, Jun Cheng in the Corvette just, you know, chasing Ivan, because Ivan is that car that Ivan's in is quite a bit quicker down the straight. So he's, you know, struggling to just stay with Ivan. But we will go to tracks with not such long straights, and it should equal out over the season.
Let's just have a look at Arif Azmi once again. He's been great fun. Normally he's been attacking people. Now he's under pressure from Justin Hung. And you mentioned that Justin can sometimes get himself into the slipstream, but just isn't fast enough down the long straights. So as Andre Janssen Villeneuve gets a slow down penalty for track limits abuse, he's in P15 out of the 16 starters. But Arif, oh, more fun from Arif.
Oh dear.
He just can't control it.
Yeah. Yeah, he's really struggling to learn how to drive these cars. I'm not sure if this is the car for him. Like I said, he comes from the real world where in karting you have to be so smooth, and struggling just control these beasts, because they are beasts and very tricky to drive.
It's the car for us, I tell you, as he overtakes Nois O, or Nois O overtakes him. Arif back down into P10. He's been fun to watch. Back up at the front, Darren Ivan. That lead, 1.6, yeah, he's kept it. These front three, they've been in these positions since lap number 2. And they've been pretty consistent as well. Qalif hasn't really been able to get on the tail of Jun Cheng. And Darren Ivan's been able to stay clear. And Voltaire Seiko is happily holding off Sim Kaiwan in P4 as well. So while the classics are great fun to watch, Alex, there hasn't been much change of the lead up at the top of the grid.
Yeah, and that's just thanks to Darren Ivan. Done a really good job. Just hasn't been subtle. He just made that one mistake at turn 1 on lap 1, but since then he's been pretty much perfect, hasn't he?
Certainly has, and he's got up to a 2-second lead now. But the Salzburg Ring, it is an old school circuit in old school cars as well. E-Racing Global Edition Silver Class. This is season 6, round 1 of the year, and Darren Ivan looks like he's going to get off to a winning start in race 1 of 2. Behind him, Jun Cheng. He's got himself a little bit of clearance as well from Mohammed Qalif. Voltaire Seiko's well clear. Let's just have a little look further down. We've not given any TLC to Kelvin Poe, who's down in P13. There's another battle going on with Arif Azmi, and Justin Hung is having a little look on the outside of Wei Xiong. So Justin Hung, what has he got the slipstream? Can you get the slipstream in the BMW? Like for like cars, Sim K-Wern gets a slowdown penalty. Oof. He's the man in P5, and that chicane is great fun as the sparks fly. Gosh, look how hard they have to work.
Gosh, I haven't driven these cars in years, but this is exactly how I remember them. You just need bagfuls of luck. You get a little bit of sideways. Obviously, sideways is not really the fastest way around, but you can get a lot more sideways than you can, you know, these cross-ply tires. Oh! Who is that?
Was that Justin Hung? I think it was,
I think that was Justin Hung. There he is, recovering right now from that monster trip down the grass. That would have been scary for him.
Again, let's have a look at a race that's going on here. This is Mark Voltaire Elman from the Philippines. He's right on the tail of Rishabh Banerjee. Rishabh from India on his E-Racing GP debut. Is he able to hold on the Nissan? Well, tell you what, there's some straight line speed there for Rishabh. Mark Voltaire Elman then goes on the inside and just flies through into P8.
Wow, the Zach speed, the Ford Zach speed, some good grip in the corners, maybe not so quick down the straight, and that's how I remember driving them as well. But that was impressive. It was like on a different piece of tarmac the way he went flying by just now.
I'm loving these old school cars. Was this your choice, or did the drivers choose these? If it was you, great job.
Yes, it was me. I'll take the credit.
Particularly Arif Azmi. So Arif is in a real battle here with Noiso. So this is the battle for P10. Noiso, well, I tell you what, it's just like this. He's got one of those old afterburners as in front of him. That looks like Noiso sliding out. No, it's Rishabh. Slides out and takes a very, very long way. And ahead of them, there's a crash with Noiso and Justin Hung.
Wow, there were cars going everywhere right now. It's like they're on a slowdown lap. What's happening? It's showing how hard these cars are to drive. Oh.
Rishabh into the pits. Andre Janssen is into the pits. Let's look at the front, though, where Darren Ivan Reijan, he's been able to just lead right from the very front. He's got 2.5 minutes to go, but you're seeing how difficult it is to cope with these. Let's see how he's battling against the steering wheel. Holding on tight, and there's a lot of wheel wobble there. Some of you kids, you wouldn't know what wheel wobble is, would you?
Could also be the force feedback, but yeah, it does happen in these cars, especially once the corner, the wheel weights get thrown, which does happen a lot, especially when they're monstering the curves like that. Oof, Ivan gets it sideways on the exit there, holds on, still getting it sideways halfway down the straight. So you can see how much power and lack of grip there are in these Group 5 cars.
Now then, Jun Cheng and Mohammed Qalif have closed in. The differential is less than a second, and there's 1.5 minutes to go. So this race is not over. Although, again, you've just got that straight line speed, and Darren just disappears into the Austrian distance as Mark Voltaire Elman gets a slowdown penalty. Nazir Azman down in P10. Kelvin Pau 11. Edward Wong is the bottom 14th out of the 14 still on the circuit. But this is the battle for P1, and we'll stick on board just with Darren Ivan at the moment. The blue and white livery, classic livery, car number 69. But again, it's inside a minute. So on the technical part of the circuit, Alex, he loses time. And Jun Cheng, for the first time, is really giving him some pressure.
Wow, strange. Ivan just like almost stopped at the apex there. Maybe he's struggling with tyre wear. We are with ×2 tyre wear, so maybe he's running out of tyres. One more lap to go, but you're right, Jun Cheng is all over the back of him right now. Whoa, struggling for tyres big time.
Oh, there's the chicane. And Darren Ivan had the right and he held on there. But this is a three-way battle now, because do not write off Mohammed Qalif. Any mistake or any slide from the two men in front. Qalif has a look on the inside of Jun Cheng. Thrilling opening to this season. Darren Ivan is the man who has the lead, but it's a precarious lead as Jun Cheng again tries to attack around the outside. This time Jun Cheng, is he able to get there? He's level with him. Darren Ivan holds on. Wow, the superior top speed in the Corvette just allowed Ivan to just go back into the front easily, but now we're in the corners part of the track again, and Jun Cheng has obviously got some more tyres. Darren Ivan struggling with tyre wear with half a lap to go. Look at the Corvettes. Oh, he's struggling to stop the car there. And the Chevrolets are all over the back of the blue car. Qalif tries to go around the outside. That's the long way round. Again, a little bit of a wobble. And for the first time, Jun Cheng gets into the lead. Darren Ivan relegated down to P3. And Jun Cheng has timed this to absolute perfection. Jun Cheng is going to take the victory. Mohammed Qalif is going to get P2. And Darren Ivan, who led from the front, is relegated down into P3. What a dramatic opening to the season. Wow, what a great move there. Both Jun Cheng and Qalif able to overtake into the first two positions on the last corner of the race. What an exciting race. And Qalif there looks so cool, but he always does look cool, doesn't he? Poor old Darren Ivan, though. Having led so long, he just seemed to... Well, I'm assuming it was tyre wear that just got to him. Voltaire Seiko 4, Simke Wern 5, Wei Xiong 6, Voltaire Elman 7. Arif Azmi finished, but right down at the bottom of P13. But what a battle that was at the start. Ah, tell you what, if the season carries on like this, Alex, it's going to be a good season. Yeah, it is. It is going to be a good season. I do enjoy watching these cars. I'm glad I'm not driving them. They look like a real handful to drive, but they're great to watch. Confirmation of the result. A fastest lap for Darren Ivan. That's some consolation, but 25 points for Jun Cheng. Mohammed Qalif from Malaysia making it a 1-2 for Stratos. He'll pick up 20 points. Darren Ivan will pick up 16 plus a bonus 2 points, so 18 points for him. Voltaire Seiko out to the Philippines, Sim Racing Filipinas. Simke Wern and Wei Xiong out to Blue Steel Racing. Good day for them. Voltaire Elman, Justin Hung, Nazir Asman and Kelvin Pau competing the top 10. Right the way down to 15. You pick up points, but only a finish in the race. So Rashid Banerjee on debut will not pick up points. But Arif Azmi in 13. A fascinating race from him. Really good stuff. And let's just see if we can get back into the action. Our thanks to Casio. Our thanks to all the sponsors, to Royal Selangor. But what a way to get off, Alex. And yeah, I'm loving those classic cars. Yeah, you did promise me some spectacular action, better than I possibly could have imagined. That is true. And we just had race 1. Race 2 is coming up, which will be a reverse grid race. Just being jumped out the server at the moment. We'll get back in the server before race 2 starts. But yeah, well, you know, it's great to see how the cars move around. You know, they're real muscle cars and stuff. You really see that. So as a driver, it's a different, you know, we're so used to seeing the DTM cars and the GT3 cars and how smooth you have to be. Any small movement on the wheel costs you lap time. And of course, to a certain extent, you don't want to be drifting these cars through, but you can get away with a lot more sideways movement in these Group 5 cars. And I'd love to see the drivers soaring at the wheel. So exciting to watch. In the reverse grid race, it's going to be India's Rishabh, who is on pole position. Arif Azmi will really have some fun here. He gave us a lot of fun, but only finished P13. He will be on the second row, and we are underway. Second reverse grid race is underway, and Rishabh Banerjee is the man who is dropped down to P2 just at the moment, because the man who's taken the lead is Arif Azmi. He has just flown off the starting line, and also Darren Ivan, P3 in race 1. He's flown off the starting grid as well as the big traffic jam. Lot of contact on that first grid, and I tell you, Mohammed Qalif was caught up in it as well. And Qalif, second place in P1 in race 1, is down to P13 in race 2. So as they come through again, see the Corvette is very quick down the straights. Very good indeed, and that's something that they have to factor in. And Arif Azmi in the other Corvette
in P1. But we saw these cars struggling with tyre wear in the race, so they have to be careful not to use up too much tyre. Obviously a lot of power going through those rear wheels, but they have to be super smooth with the throttle pedal to make sure that the tyres last.
Now, Arif Azmi has got off to a flying start. 1.7 seconds clear he is of Hong Kong's Justin Hung. There is Justin in P2 in the old school BMW. Darren Ivan, who had such a really good race, he's up to P3. Rishabh from India is just knocked aside by Darren Ivan. He's on the wrong side of that and he's going to lose 1, possibly 2 places. Jun Cheng, who came through to win race number 1, he's got himself up into P4 very early on. So Darren and Jun Cheng, round 2, ding ding, here we go.
Yeah, round 2, ding ding, here we go. Darren Ivan with a very good exit out of the last corner, so he'll be clean into T1. But I hope he would have learned from race 1. He saw that he has to be very careful with those rear tyres. Try and make him last for the entire race.
You can see there that Arif Azmi, who got off to an absolute flyer, is still leading the way, but his lead has been brought down by Justin Hung to 0.5 of a second. There is. Now that'll be a good shot to see if he is struggling. More contact. Justin Hung just hits the back end of Arif, who keeps his cool there. He looks cool, but there he looks back. So that was an interesting one. He had straight line speed in the first race. Here, it looked like he was caught up by Justin Hung and then disappears down that long back straight.
Yeah, there is Justin Hung. Wow, he had that small contact at the last corner. Look how far back he is from Azmi at the end of the straight. So has to really watch that. But that BMW, oh, he's right on the edge there. Whoa! As Azmi gets it all wrong and does a little 360.
More Arif Azmi. There's a bit of a smile on there. He's done oh, and then he's caught big time.
Oh dear.
Arif Azmi going the wrong way, fella. Oh, another big clash. This needs a bit of practice, young fella.
Oh dear, that's a shame for him.
There's a highlight reel in its own right. He not only took himself out of the lead, he took out 2 others in the race as well. Means Justin Hung has the lead. Darren Ivan and Jun Cheng are in P2 and P3. Arif, I tell you what, can we have a show reel of him after this?
Yeah, we should do. But let's see if Justin Hung can hold on to that lead, because we know how slow it is down the straight in the BMW. What kind of BMW is that? It's the 320 turbo. Oh, he's gone wide. He doesn't want to go wide there, but he's going to look to try and get a good exit out of that corner. But look who's right behind him. And look at Darren Ivan in second position. Oh, look, just going to blast by him down the straight. Easily done.
So Darren Ivan Reijan, who led for all bar the last 10 seconds of race number 1. He goes into the lead on lap 3 in race number 2. I think that's just a little bit of lagging there, or is it? You can't tell with these classics, as Jun Cheng tried really hard to get past Justin Hung. All that's done is allow Darren Ivan to pull a 1 second lead over the BMW. There is Jun Cheng in P3. And there's the view that he's got, but he made an aggressive move there on Justin Hung. Nearly came a cropper.
And Jun Cheng almost goes off as well. Whoa, I'd say he looked like such a handful to control these cars. Too much power, not enough tyres, I reckon. We might have to decrease tyre wear, I think, for these cars.
No.
You love it, don't you?
Make it a test. Make it a challenge. Tell you what, Darren Ivan, he has got something to really hold on to, because he was relegated down into P3. We're on board here with Wei Xiong. He's down in P7. That's Mohammed Qalif, I think, as Mohammed Zikri, who is trying to get the better of in a battle for P6. Wei Xiong has actually just got the better of Zikri. And then he's got Rashid Banerjee, the Indian driver, in P5 ahead of him. So Wei Xiong enjoying his moment in the spotlight. Again, he's another who's selected the BMW classic racing green colours. I like that. And he's right on the tail there of Banerjee.
British Racing Green. Is he close enough for the slipstream? Not close enough this lap. Half a second as they go down the back straight. But, you know, towards the end of this lap, I got to fancy that long right hairpin coming up. He's going to fancy his chances of getting in down the inside there. Let's see what happens.
We'll just stick with these for a moment, as the different lines that you can take in if you leave it a little bit long, and collisions are virtually guaranteed. Just Salzburg, it's a lovely tight circuit. I do enjoy it.
Yeah, just too wide in that corner before, because I would have fancied he could have got him through this bit, but Ooh, through the chicane now. This BMW 320 is quicker through here, just not quick enough down the straight. But if you can get good exit, yeah, but then not able to quite do it at this point.
As they come over the start-finish line, they are onto lap number 5. Ahead of them, just moving away from this battle just for a moment. Oh, no, let's wait for it, because this could be the moment for Wei Xiong. Banerjee just holds on. They slingshot in and out of that chicane. And Banerjee, tell you what, for Rishab, sorry, on his debut, this is a pretty solid performance. We saw him in the longer races, the 4-hour race, endurance race. But now these sprint races, it's a completely different ball game, isn't it? As he goes sideways once again.
Yeah, sideways out that corner. These cars are constantly sideways. It is so tricky for them.
Justin Hung has lost P2. Justin Hung is now in P3. Jun Cheng has overtaken him. So the winner of race number 1 is up into P2 in race number 2. But ahead of them, Darren Ivan's managed to pull 3 seconds clear as Justin Hung completely loses it.
Oh, disaster for Justin Hung. He was doing so well in 3rd position. Oh, he's right in the middle of the track right now. Hope no one collects him. Seems to be okay. Sim Kai-wen has gone up to 3rd position. So he'd have been saying thank you very much. And Wei Xiong then goes around the inside. Oh, as he goes by, Wei Xiong gets sideways and has a big moment. Still stays on track somehow. I think he still stays in the same position as well. Still holds on to 5th position.
Held on to P5 did Wei Xiong, but Rishabh Banerjee has gone ahead of him. Right behind him, though, Wei Xiong will look back and he'll look at Mohammed Qalif. Qalif, who got himself onto the podium in race number 1, then loses out to Voltaire Seiko. Tell you what, Alex, Voltaire Seiko has made a lot of progress in the last couple of laps. He was down in P11 or P12. Voltaire Seiko now battling for this P6. We're on board with Wei Xiong, sorry. Qalif behind them. Seiko in P7. Justin Hung down to P8.
Wow, Justin Hung. Such a shame for the Hong Kong-based driver. Very good driver. Down in P8, so but there is a bit of time, 7 minutes to go. Maybe he can recover a few positions, but Wei Xiong will be really happy with this 5th position at the moment in the silver class. Whoa, but he's got overtaken by Qalif. Qalif just slipstreams past, and the BMW 320s, plenty of grip around the corners, just not very quick in a straight line.
Once again, Wei Xiong just has to be aware of Voltaire Seiko. I've really enjoyed the work of Voltaire Seiko. There he is, looking onto the back of Wei Xiong. Wei Xiong in the British Racing Green, making a comeback there on Mohammed Qalif. So this one isn't over. This is good old school racing, isn't it? This is terrific stuff.
Yeah, it is.
This is the battle for P5. Qalif in the blue, in the... for Stratos. Jun Cheng gets a slowdown penalty. Track limits abuse.
Oh dear, will that put him into the clutches of Kai-wen in 3rd place? That could do. But yeah, here we go. Here we are on board with Jun Cheng. You can see in the distance the leader, Darren Ivan. And no, even with the slowdown penalties, a big gap between him and Sim Kai-wen in the blue BMW.
Okay, so 1, 2 and 3 look like they're sorted, but we've said that as we approach the 2/3 mark of this race. Let's just remind ourselves who the race leader is, and it's this man. Sorry, Sim Kai-wen, we'll come back to you. It's this man, Darren Ivan, who's posting some quick lap times, and this time looks like he's protecting his tyres just a little bit better. He's not quite as vibrant going into those corners, or violent I suppose is the word I'm after. That's a lovely clean line. No rubber really left on the circuit there. 2.5 second lead. Just make sure he stays on the black stuff, and that's what he's got to do for the next 5 minutes.
Yeah, but okay, that's how it was in race 1 as well, wasn't it? Race 1, Darren Ivan looked really good, but then Jun Cheng just caught him in the last corner of the last lap. And Jun Cheng seems to be going stronger again. He seems to be closing down the gap to Darren Ivan. But with just under 5 minutes to go, I'm not sure if there's enough time. Oh, lovely sideways action through the first 2 corners.
Jun Cheng, there's one in the blue. Darren Ivan, there's 2. Jun Cheng, but he's not quite as close at this stage as he was in race number 1, where he was able to take it from him. Sim Kai-wen has dropped back quite a long way into P3. There is Sim Kai-wen. We cut off him before. Let's just see how he's driving, Alex. Have a look at him. He's always got a smile on his face, always chattering into his microphone. But is he struggling with the controls there? It is a battle for these kids.
Yeah, it is. Kids. I love how it's a Formula One. He's got a really nice direct drive, like a Formula One wheel there. But he's having to fight this car old school. And watch the hand actions. These corners here in a GT3 car be easy, flat. But these cars, very tricky indeed. Look at the amount of understeer he has there. Has a couple stabs on. Oh, very nicely done actually by Kaiwen. But yeah, it's just car moving under the brakes now. Now he's drifting through this right-hander. Nicely done.
He's very happy in P3. Let's move away from him at the moment and look at Mohammed Qalif, who's also pretty happy in P4. Voltaire Seiko, having got close, isn't able to get close enough on this time. 3:35 to go. The differential just over a second between Mohammed Qalif and Voltaire Seiko. So, you know now, it's not too late. There's a battle going on for P7, though. Wei Xiong, once again, under pressure from one-time race leader Justin Hung.
Oof, and Justin Hung there almost cooked it too much at the apex. Managed to just hold on as they come across the start-finish line now. Whoa. Oh, someone spins in the background. Oh, that was Mark Voltaire-Elman. Oh, in the Zach speed. Says he recovered the car. Yeah, he's going again, but he's right at the back now.
So Mark Voltaire-Elman drops well. He's got Andre Janssen behind him. Kelvin Pau overtakes him. Nazir Asman hasn't had an awful lot of TLC from us. There he is, Team Racing Line. That's a sweet looking vehicle.
It is. It looks like something out of Cars, you know, Cars the movie. It probably is exactly the same.
Okay, this is the battle we want to keep an eye on. Wei Xiong in P7. He's on the back of Rishab. Justin Hung right on the tail of him. Justin Hung is probably the man to keep an eye on because he can get into the slipstream. Got the low down view there. Looks on the inside, or looks on the outside, I should say, of Wei Xiong. Can't get through. Rishab is there. That's a real rear end view. Rishab, he's the man who's able to slide, but Wei Xiong can slide through. So Wei Xiong goes up into P6 ahead of Rishab. Justin Hung, he's still looking to find a way past Rishab. And the Indian then slides off, gets it completely wrong.
Wow, these cars are hard to drive. Oof, Nos Oil also goes off in sympathy.
Yes, there is no way. So I was on the wrong person there. Oh dear, great stuff. Up at the front, Darren Ivan. Now then, is Jun Cheng going to repeat what he did in race number 1? In race 1, Jun Cheng took the win. Mohammed Qalif took P2. Darren Ivan, who'd led from start to finish, was pipped into P3 right at the very end. But this time, Darren Ivan Reijan from Singapore in the silver class looks like he's enjoying these classic cars. And this Corvette is made for Darren Ivan.
Yeah, it is. And it looks like you're right. We've got one and a bit more laps to go. Looks like the gap is good enough. Looks like he'll hold on. But, you know, these guys, for a lot of these guys, pretty much all these guys, will be first time driving these cars. So a lot will be learned by these races with how it goes, with tire wear and stuff. And, you know, we could introduce pit stops as well in the later races as well to make things more exciting. So they'll learn a lot. But Darren Ivan, one more lap to go. Should be able to hold on for the lead, but we said that in race 1 as well, and we saw what happened, so let's not count our chickens yet.
Just needs to make sure he is clean, and that's not clean. That is cheating. That's going the wrong way over the chicane, but he's able to hold on. Just very briefly, a real battle going on for P3, Alex.
Yeah.
Mohammed Qalif has got himself ahead of Simke Wern. Rishab has dropped out of the race. So Qalif in P3. P2 in race 1. We've not really spoken about the Stratos Motorsports man, but he's got himself ahead of Simke Wern into P3 at the moment. At the front, though, Darren Ivan extends his lead. Just blasts away down the long straight. And this is now a victory final lap.
Yeah, I think Sim Kai-Wen made a mistake coming out the last corner on the previous lap. That's allowed Qalif up to 3rd position. But great drive by Darren Ivan. I think this is his first win in silver class. It might be, actually. Or maybe he's won a reverse grid race. But after seeing the race 1 victory snatched from his hands on the very last corner, this will be good, just reward by the Singaporean.
He's just made sure it's a very safe and clean final lap after that little scare on the chicane where he missed the first corner in as Janssen Villeneuve gets another drive-through penalty. Darren Ivan Reijan takes the victory and celebrates in style. Jun Cheng will come in second place, a P1 and a P2 for Jun Cheng. Mohammed Qalif will come in P3 ahead of Simke Wern, who drops out. Actually, Voltaire Seiko will get into P4, and something has happened to Simke Wern. Let's quickly go and look at Simke Wern. He's struggling, Alex, down in P7. A late problem for the Malaysian, but no problems whatsoever for our race winner, Darren Ivan Reijan.
I think Kaiwan must have punctured on the last few corners, because he went from 4th all the way down to 6th. Managed to finish the race going backwards. But wow, some cars struggling with tyre wear. We're going to have to do pit stops, I think, the next race. It'll be kind of fun to see how that goes.
You want to add more chaos?
Yeah, more chaos.
Fantastic. So, 1, 2 and 3 in race number 1. They're the 1, 2 and 3 in race number 2. Just a different order. In race 2, Darren Ivan came from way down on the grid, had a very good first lap, got into the lead. He'll take the victory, and he'll also pick up points for the fastest lap in both races for the Singaporean. Jun Cheng, a first place in race 1, a second place in race 2, and 2 podiums for Mohammed Qalif as well. Voltaire Seiko, good day for him, and Justin Hung, he will be competitive in the silver class as well. Casio Edifas with the official timekeeping. This has been a terrific round 1 in the silver edition. Well, Alex Young, that is fun. For me.
Yeah. You loved that. Cars sideways all over the place. So we had a lot of action there. You know, these group 5 cars, very difficult to control. Too much power, not enough grip. Very heavy on the tyre wear. We try to get Darren on the Zoom, but he's not available. So I guess we'll go to a commercial break.
Indeed we will. We've got gold class coming up after this commercial break. If it's a quarter as good as what we've just been in silver, you will want to join us. This is E-Racing GP Global Edition, Season 6.